Hi, my name is Laura Mitchell. I'm doing my presentation on Maria Montessori. She started off as an early childhood educator. Her theories on education and her early childhood development theories and her methodologies revolutionized preschool. Her theories matched up pretty well with up-and-coming postmodernism theories that were hitting the Europe and the United States in the 1950s and 60s, which are still very prevalent today. Montessori believed that education should be child-centered, that everything from the curriculum to the tools to the environment should be child-friendly, child-accessible, and child-engaging. The curriculum should be based on real-life experience. It should actually mimic real life rather than a bunch of random subjects that someone predetermined that the student should learn. She believed that the students had a natural desire to learn and to be independent, and that the best environment to practice and grow that independence was in a large open room full of learning centers with tools that could help them learn independently, and that teachers were just there to motivate and to keep the classroom functional. Montessori believed that children were miraculous beings, that they had their own culture and needs and traditions and forms of communication, and that most adults don't pick up on any of that. She deeply believed that the first 2 years of your life set the bedrock for the rest of your life. So whatever happens to you in the first 2 years of your life is going to either make or break your adult life. She believed that so deeply that she wanted to create an environment where the students can learn independently and develop that self-motivation to learn while being supervised by caring, attentive teachers. According to Montessori, a child needed to discover themselves and develop self-discipline in order to gain independence and move on to less self-directed learning and ultimately to adult life and get a job and be a good benefactor to society. She wanted thinking children to grow up into thinking adults. Therefore, the education methodologies that were being used at that time, she kind of just chucked out the window, and she got some criticism from that from John Dewey and his student William Kirkpatrick. They actually had a campaign to keep her from opening schools in the United States. However, she overcame that, and she did open some schools. She's opened many schools here. Her first school was opened in 1907, so she's had schools around for over 100 years. And even when it's not a specific Montessori school, most public schools are still using her methodologies and her classroom setups in order to give students room to freely learn and to roam. Most preschools do recognize that there is a learning pattern that every child has that steps from gross motor to fine motor to core to outwards. That's best achieved, according to Montessori, through imaginative play that mimics child's real life experiences. The tools necessary to achieve this independent learning have to mimic adult tools and feel like adult tools. The best way she felt to achieve creative productivity was to be hands-on. Being within a natural environment produced calmer, sensible, and happier kids, and she often emphasized that real things from the real world produce real world productivity. She also believed that a child's personality came out with everything that they were doing. The children needed to be able to explore their environment through their senses in order to set the bedrock of all other knowledge that they were going to build upon as they grew up. The children only gained independence after self-discovery through concentration and self-discipline. Montessori advocated that children could not be expected to obey adults if they could not even obey themselves, their own thoughts and their own desires. If they couldn't control what's going up here, then they're not going to control what's going on out here. Children must be given choices, changes, and freedom to fail in order to develop that discipline. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation. The handout is posted and kind of highlights the three main points that I found helpful as a preschool teacher: the classroom, child-centered education, and having the education mimic real life. Have a great day.